Now we're taking you to Terawhiti Station. It's a wild, windswept farm off the southwest coast of the North Island, and its scrubby hills are the perfect new home for one of Aotearoa's taonga species. Alongside grazing sheep, cattle and goats, if you're lucky, you just might find a Kiwi. Janina Schwanneker went to the farm to find out more.
Covering close to 5,000 hectares along the southwest coast of Wellington, Terawhiti Station is also one of the oldest in the region. Its steep, scrub-clad hills are under the care of manager Guy Parkinson and shepherd Ross Johnston. I'm meeting them today on the farm, where Guy tells me about the changes since he first started.
I'm Guy Parkinson, manager of Terawhiti Station.
I'm Ross Johnston, shepherd on Terawhiti Station.
Of the 5,000 or so almost hectares, how many are effective actually for farming?
Probably about 2,500 hectares you could say are clear, but within that there's a lot of regenerating gorse and other scrub. But we do graze most of the other areas, so the stock just graze in amongst all the manuka and regenerating forest that is there. When I started here, it was almost like a blank canvas. We had no stock-proof fencing whatsoever. We had no serviceable or functioning yards or woolshed. Where the place is now fully developed, I think we've put in about 90 kilometres of new fencing, upgraded all the existing yards and facilities. I've cleared about 2,000 hectares of scrub weeds, mainly gorse. Cattle here were virtually a feral mob of wild cattle, and we only had about 270 wild sheep when I started. So, it's completely different, complete transformation.
Michael Grace, a descendant of one of the farm's early pioneers, is a shareholder and director of Terawhiti Station.
I'm Michael Grace. I'm one of the descendants of the original farmers on the property from the 1840s. James McMiniman was one of the ancestors who came out from Ireland, we think under sponsorship. And we know he was on the property in 1847. We assume he was there before that, and we're still here today.
A wind farm built by Meridian Energy 15 years ago proved a catalyst for the farm's redevelopment.
The catalyst for the farm's redevelopment occurred circa 2009. So Meridian Energy had just established Westwind Wind Farm, and so a lot of the turmoil that was created through that development process was over. We could get back to farming proper. Before that, the farm was in a bit of a sorry state. This is post sort of depressions of 80s and 90s, post subsidies. The farm wasn't in a very good state, and so Meridian came along and established the wind farm. And post 2009, we've been all guns blazing, really.
The wind farm is now a major part of the farm's operation, which boasts a diverse stream of incomes.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage to us. Not only does it give us a very diverse income, whereas one commodity might be down, it could be balanced out by another one being up, but also really helps with the cash flow. We have income coming in throughout most of the year. At the moment we have a total of 9 income streams from various things. The wind farm is one of the major ones. The wind farm is great, not only the income from it, but it also has given us a good road network, which helps with the farming. And we also have carbon farming, tourism. We have beekeepers come in the summer for manuka honey, and we also have a diving group utilises the place. What were staff houses and other mustering huts and things are now also used as rentals. On the livestock aspect, we're mainly beef breeding. We have about 850 cows to the bull this year, and most of the young stock will be sold through the sale yards or go to our finishing farm, which is up in Wellington near Palmerston North. We also have about 2,000 Wiltshire sheep, so we have a pretty low labour input system. It's fairly extensive. Only have about 35 paddocks. On top of that, we have quite a few feral goats running around, which are essential for weed control, and we hope to sell sort of 400 to 600 of them every year.
There's some newcomers to the farm too. Alongside grazing livestock, you might now find kiwi running around. The North Island brown kiwi, Kiwi Nui, were reintroduced to the property as part of the Capital Kiwi project. Don't worry, We'll meet Paul Ward, the man behind the Capital Kiwi project, another time.
Well, Paul Ward, founder, is an old friend of mine, an old rowing mate of mine. So, when he came to talk to us about the idea, I think in the first instance, just surprise is probably the best word to describe it, because who wouldn't want kiwi in their backyard? But then I've grown up in an environment where, there have been, it's a very degraded environment, right? It's a rural environment. Native bush is scarce. So the thought of having kiwi reintroduced was a bit of a surprise to us. Exciting nonetheless, but a surprise. So Paul approached us, pitched the idea. Obviously there were concerns and questions. What does it look like? What does management look like? How does pest control work? Can kiwi survive? All those questions he subsequently answered, and we were on board for sort of at the very start.
Yeah, when it was put to us, we were a little bit sort of sceptical of it, but looking back now, we're really glad we undertook the project, and it's been pretty seamless, pretty easy to fit in with what we're already doing. My wife Carolyn and I, we've always been environmentalists at heart. We've had a bit of experience in other areas about what can be achieved with predator-free areas. So, and she's very green-fingered, always likes planting native plants and things. So the kiwi certainly get the limelight, and they are the main attraction here, but we are noticing all other species of birds starting to make a bit of a comeback, and also the regenerating native bush. So it's an overall project that we're all very keen on, and the shareholders are very keen to leave it in a better state for future generations.
What about for you, Ross? How does it feel to be a part of this project as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty special to be down a gully and somewhere in the farm moving stock, and then all of a sudden you hear a kiwi call out.
What sort of logistical challenges are there to having such a strong focus on conservation and having kiwi running around on the farm?
Yeah, it's definitely something we've got to be conscious of. I'm running 6 dogs, 2 heading dogs, Ace and Teal, a couple of straight huntaways, Ness and Jack, and then a couple of handies. One's a beardie called Deb, and then a young one coming on called Bonnie. Through the aversion training, that seems to work very, very well, and obviously our dog's been under control. We hope that never really becomes an issue. It's something to consider also. There's a lot of people on the farm a lot of the time, so there's a bit of coordination with that, but really the kind of kiwi look after themselves other than the trapping network, quite seamless in our day-to-day. Probably the biggest threat is not from our dogs, but it's just from unauthorised access of dogs coming in, from public, with some of our neighbours. Most of the local community have really got behind it and have got their dogs trained. It's just that the wider public coming out of Wellington do have access to the outskirts of the farm. But with our own dogs and our own operations, I think the kiwi are fairly safe.
And so all of your dogs have been through the kiwi avoidance training for the both of you?
Yeah.
And how did you find that process? What was that like for you guys? I suppose especially for you, Ross, probably not having seen something like that before, maybe? Yeah.
Willie, who does it, is pretty fantastic to work with. I mean, he clearly loves the work and is very knowledgeable. But yeah, amazing to see how quickly the dogs kind of key into it. And I think some of my dogs have probably been through it 3 times now, and they don't even want to be there. That's how averse they are to the kiwis. That's really great to see.
Yeah, Willie has got a real great affinity with dogs, and has got it down to a fine art, so he's doing a great job.
We head to a kiwi avoidance training session down the road in Marketer, where we meet the legendary Willie Marsh.
Hey, how you going, Willie? I'm good, man. Good to see you.
Kia ora. I'm Willie Marsh. I'm the version trainer for the kiwis and all our other ground species. I come from Waikaramona. I do get around and do a few dogs over the country.
How long have you been doing this for, Willie?
Quite a few number of years.
And how did you learn this yourself? How did you kind of figure out this this recipe for keeping dogs away from our
Well, I
manu?
was introduced to it by a fellow running dock in Waikatamona, and he asked me if I would take on the Kiwi aversion training because we had Kiwis up there. We had our own sanctuary, but we needed to get in there and hunt the pigs and the deer too. We had to put through a program to stop our own dogs from killing the birds. Turned out okay, so
Here you are.
here I am today.
Willie explains the different senses he's targeting before taking me out on the course.
Well, the first one is the nose, second one is the sight, and the third one is the ears. The fourth one is the person, is the owner.
Is the owner, I suppose, owner responsibility, eh?
Yes, right. Yeah, so that's the other one, and if you can relate that to the owner that the dog can do it, they look at their dogs totally different. They work them totally differently. Yeah, and you've got to keep that trust between the owner and the dog. You don't want to take it away. Because I use electric collar. Okay, I better tell you that now. So the electric collar can make a dog do certain things. My training is based on a whole lot of other trainings, but I find that with electric collar you've got to be very careful. If you're not careful with electric collar, you can actually make a dog look at it and go for it. You can make this think that it can fight back.
It thinks it's a threat.
If you press the electric collar too hard. You know, every dog has a certain training point. Okay, there's a certain level. They all have a different level to train. If you go above it, you can actually make that dog either look at it as a threat, and then he won't have a go at it. Or else if you... so the idea is actually let the dog figure it out that maybe it's not a threat, I'm the threat and I'll go around.
Is there much difference across different breeds of dogs, like for example farm dogs versus, domestic pet dogs?
No, because they all still have the same characters. Good nose, good sight and good sound. The only difference things, they work in different things, okay? One goes for the pigs and the other one's doing sheep work and stuff like that. But dogs are very clever and they I always think they have the best traits in the world. I regard them as the best hunting dogs in the world. Mm-hmm. I do. I have a lot of time for a dog. But I read the dogs before I take them out. I've done enough dogs now to sort of hopefully know them before I actually take them out.
So what does the course involve?
Well, first of all, I'll put the collar on them, okay? And then we'll bring them down here. So the first part here is scent. They're either going to go to the scent or they're not. And then as we get along, then there's movement because that's sight. With scent, there's sight. Nose, eyes, okay? And then towards the end there, then they get to the one with the sound. So I do scent, sight, sound. So sometimes the wind might be blowing towards the dog, they mightn't pick up any scent, but they can hear it. And that gives them a little thing, oh yeah, there is a bird out there. Mm. Yeah, it just gives them a little sense of direction. Yeah.
And so as the dog kind of makes an approach to the decoy kiwi, that's when you might give them a zap just to deter them from going there. Yeah.
But basically, I prefer the vibration because the vibration makes them sniff the scent in. And then if they don't respond, I might have to go up to 1 or 2 on the electrics. But, you don't want to go, I'll find out what this temperament is. Yeah.
Beforehand?
Beforehand. Because, I don't want to overcook it if I can. Yeah, and then they'll eventually think about it. I don't do my dogs on a lead. That's a big no-no with me because I always think if you've got them on the lead, you've got them retained, you've still got control over it. The dog actually has to go around by itself because when they walk in their dogs, they're actually walking it off the lead. So these are basically my props. They made up ones, of course. But then with these props, I can do certain things with them. I can put the scent with them.
The kiwi scent?
Yeah, and the sight with the kiwi, and also the sound. 3 things. I can't teach a dog on one. They need 3 things. So if I get the sequence right, our dogs will end up to avoid them, okay?
And where do you get these kind of props from? Do you make them yourself?
Yes, a lot of them I make myself, but then a lot of them I got donated to me, because I do a few companies, but they actually come steel and then I cover them.
Let's go put them out.
Yeah. So that's what's in this bag here, it's scent. These are my scent boxes. I made these up. What'll happen is I'll put something like this that's been soaked in kiwi scent, and then I'll put it in the box. And I got them like that because that's the shape of the nose of a dog. But over time, what happens is, I've been down here quite a few times, so I've altered the course from when I originally started.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting the hits with the dogs. You know, the dogs weren't going to the props properly. So you can't. You've really got to work it out and eventually come up with something that works. It doesn't sort of happen the first time you come out. So props have to be moved around, and, you know, to suit the. Okay, so you'll walk up to that one there.
I see. There's a kiwi hiding in this bush. Whoa! So it moves.
So that's the noise that the dog will make, hopefully. Yeah. So that's the sight.
That's the sight aspect.
Yeah.
You actually caught me off guard there, Willie.
Well, that's what I'm after. So that's how I work it.
So the owner, would they be walking with their dog along this
Yes,
path?
Yeah.
And so would they stop their dog naturally, or would you want them to just kind of keep walking and then boom, the kiwi moves?
Yeah, because if they stop their dog, that means they're seeing the prop and controlling the dog.
Ah, so you need the dog to control itself.
That's right. Let the dog work it out for itself. Yeah. So.
There's also a recording of a kiwi call and several other challenges the dogs will have to overcome to pass. Meanwhile, the marketa locals have brought their four-legged friends to do their part in keeping their new neighbours safe.
Morning, guys. How are we doing? Sorry. That's all right. I'll give you that's all right. Oh, when you're ready. Oh, good. No, you're all right. Just checking in, checking out. My bits and pieces together.
It's time for Willie to meet Obi. Hello, big boy. Who is this over here?
It's Obi.
Obi. And how old is Obi?
He's 8.
Hunterway cross or?
Rottweiler Hunter.
Rottweiler Hunterway. Oh yeah, that explains those big paws. So he hasn't had his training yet?
No, we're waiting for it.
Waiting for it. And is it his first time training or?
For Inter-Kiwi, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool. How do you think he'll go?
He's usually pretty, usually takes pretty well to direction, so he should just lap it up.
Collar goes on.
Collar goes on. Give him a pat. Pretty clever, believe me. I bet she's got a black gum.
Dog whisperer.
Those are the traits you look for. These are the traits that I look for in a dog. Well, that's how what helps me work the electrics. Got to have that. And then as I put in the thing, I can lift it up with my fingers, and I know he's got a very black muzzle. There you go. Farmers pick it. I got taught that off a farm. If you want a good dog, pick him with a black muzzle. Got to have 4 black feet too.
No luck there.
Yeah, but that's how they pick. Because a farmer's dog does a lot of mileage a day, every day, 7 days a week sometimes. If you get a dog with the black muzzle, they hold their weight.
So you've got a good dog there.
They eat properly.
Obi, on me.
Yeah, that's on me. Okay, go.
That's the lead. Yeah. Thanks. Good boy, go on.
Good boy. Good boy. Okay.
Oops. This way.
Okay.
They set off down the bush track and he's coming up to his first obstacle. We'll leave them to their training. The community training session is also a good chance for the station crew to catch up with Willie. You've had about a half dozen dogs come through this morning. Pretty happy with how they went?
Yeah, pretty happy. Yeah. They all take their time. They all have a certain time to learn. Yeah. The biggest thing is like when the sheep dogs, you can't really take them very singly because they take the dogs, the whole pack to work. And you know, that's how they work them. It's a different atmosphere for those dogs. Like for you guys, you don't leave a dog, you just don't take one dog, you take the lot. So that's how they still have to be up there in that field no matter what. Yeah. You can't say, oh, I'll leave this dog behind because I don't trust it. You've still got to take them. And I find with working dogs, they're very clever. You know, they just, they know what they're there for. And once they're out of that kennel, they know where they're going to work. And that's what they got on their mind, to work.
I think, for us, as long as we keep doing the aversion training every year or so, our dogs aren't the problem. It's our biggest fear is just outside dogs coming in from the city.
The other thing too, they've liberated more Kiwis, so the chances are that there's more out there now. So the dogs are going to run into them, more than they used to. But I know the amount of hours that they put into a working dog, and it starts at day one and the first at the day's end, maybe 10 years later, 12 years later, when that dog is gone. It never stops.
Yep.
Yeah, it never stops just on that when you think you got them right.
Bit like us old fellas, Willie, we're still learning, aren't we?
That's right.
That was Guy Parkinson. Janina Schwaneker was also speaking with Ross Johnson, Michael Grace and Willie Marsh. And Obi the dog, how did he go? Well, he passed with flying colours. While it's great for dog owners to get their canines trained to avoid our native manu, not everyone can. So dog owners around Wellington are encouraged to keep their pets on the lead while out walking the bush trails near the new Kiwi population. And next week, a Matariki treat. Janina is back out on the farm, this time with the Capital Kiwi project team to meet some of the local Kiwi.